Welcome to the 13th, we've been told, or I've been told, edition of the Ref Pod. We've had a little bit of a break. Me and Martin have been jet-setting around Europe. He's been almost getting his head kicked in at six-a-side football, and I've also been getting my head kicked in for commentating on it and saying the wrong things and upsetting people. So we've had fun. Wayne's been Wayne. The wonderful world of Wayne. He's been reffing. He started reffing girls' football. He can't stand the heat in the men's, but what he's learned is that girls is even worse. So he's coming back, and we have a special guest on our first podcast.
It'd be good to have Tony on. Spotted Tony on his social media, and I just thought it'd be really good to get him on what he's doing. I'll let you can talk in a bit more detail about it, but the body cam's been close to my heart for like 5 years now. Something I really wanted to happen.
Literally
close to my heart. And it's obviously everyone knows the score, what we did with the IFAB, and I picked up that Tony was doing his bit with body cams, and I've seen some really interesting clips, and I thought, let's get him on. So here's Tony, who does his, what's it, Tony Talks?
Tony Talks UK, yeah, that's the one.
Is that an Instagram page, is it?
YouTube channel.
And how you doing for followers?
Creeping up to 700.
Yeah, see, that's 628. 628.
He's doing better than us.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is doing better than us.
So I mean, let's let him talk. I mean, you've just told me that you've only been reffing around about a year. You started off at under 17s, I think you said, or 17s, under 18s.
Right. Yeah.
And you're working your way up into the wonderful world of men's grassroots.
Yes.
The wild, wild west, as I like to call it. So tell us your story. I mean, we've all got really big, strong opinions on body cams and how I think we all pretty much agree that they'll be a game changer in grassroots football, and I'll tell you a little bit about my initiative at my club that I run. So yeah, over to you, mate. Over to you. Tell us about it, what you've been doing, and where people can follow you, and what the general experience has been like. I'd also like to know if you've had any objections to it, from the clubs that you've been refereeing, from maybe the whatever FA county FA that you're reffing under. Have you had any problems from any objections? Do they not know about it? Is this the first they're going to hear? Whatever you think's relevant, just get it over to us and put it out there, and we'll help you spread it.
What's your job outside refereeing, mate? Is that like a police officer or someone that wears a body cam? What made you go this way?
I work in security, so I do work with body worn cameras, and it's such a deterrent for bad behaviour. Really, it's really, I don't understand why it's not out there already. Really don't.
Well, from my personal point of view, and the stuff I've done with it is, I think the previous hierarchy of the FA didn't really want to let everyone know how bad it is. And one of the things we got on our Twitter account, I got battered early on. I still get battered now, but it's a very different type of battering, because I was showing the videos of lads getting their head kicked in. I was showing videos of really horrible incidents where there's swearing and threats. And I was getting all these, I call them badge collectors, certain people in refereeing who just love what the FA do and love what county FAs do. And even if it's the worst thing possible, don't say anything about them. If they want to say something about it, they'll say it. I don't care. I'll say nothing. So I filled that big hole with like some videos. The second video, Dan Rowan, who's the chief sports writer for the BBC, all the big stories on the BBC, you'll see Dan Rowan on. I give it to him as exclusive accidentally. And within a day, it had over 1 million views. And then ITV picked it up and it went mad. So I knew there was this sort of appetite for it. And to have someone like you going out there doing it, I'm surprised your county FA, whoever that is, hasn't got hold of you and said, you better stop doing that. So if you do, just let us know, because it's such a positive thing you're doing, mate. The incidents, the recent one with the penalty decision, talk us through that, mate.
I give a penalty, which I thought was a Stonewall penalty. I was so confident. Penalty, Stonewall. The defender, as a ref, I've learned you can tell a lot by a way a defender reacts to a decision, and I knew something wasn't right with the defender. They were adamant that it wasn't a penalty, and I knew something in this, something's not right here. And to be fair to the striker, I've got a Meltham number 9. It was. He goes, ref, he's not touched me. It's not a penalty. And I said, listen, fair enough, good on you. And I actually apologised to the number 2. I'll give the penalty against. Shook hands, and then that were it. We moved on with the match, and it was a good game.
Onside, all good. Very easy. Well, I just said penalty. It's a penalty.
He didn't even touch me. He didn't touch me. There you go.
Is that what you say, Paul? No? Okay, thank you. Well done.
No.
Where's 2? Sorry, mate. My bad.
Oh, first fucking play.
Yeah, do you think he did that because you had him on camera?
I'm not sure. I hope not. I hope not, but I'm not sure. You can't be sure. Yeah.
He's definitely has, hasn't he?
There were 3-0 up at the time. That might have helped as well. I don't know if it was 1-1 in the last minute.
Great point.
Because he's going to get. I don't know if you got loads of followers on there, he's going to get hammered by people if he is cheating and he takes the penalty or somebody takes and scores. But I think it's interesting that you raise that, because maybe body cams. I never thought about that, to be honest with you. I never thought about the honesty and the integrity that it must force. Because if you're on a camera, a bird's eye camera, and referees generally have a pretty good view of everything, especially big incidents. I know we don't get it all and we don't see it all. But that must put the pressure on them, thinking about diving, thinking about
I think so.
What they can and can't do, what they can and can't get away with. And I think I don't know. I've never thought about it before. Just with you saying that makes me.
Yeah, it's not just diving though. Just the general attitude on the pitch. I mean, I've had a few, abuses. Every referee has, none too far. No one's stepped over a line. But since the referee body on camera, I've had next to nothing. Next to nothing.
Wow. So I love this, because it kind of feels what Martin's been pushing for a long time. It's kind of Martin's baby, this. And I'll put you a perspective for me. I run a grassroots club in Doncaster, kids football. From under 7s all the way up to, well, we haven't got an under 18s team, but if we did have one, if Wayne's team gets there in a couple of years, then we'd have one, let's say. And I rang Martin actually a few weeks ago, just to kind of let off a bit of steam, because obviously I know him really well and I know what he does. Just to kind of say, listen to what's happened today. You won't believe what's happened today. And I kind of, I was mad, I think, more than anything. I really mad. I think every year we say, oh, it's getting worse. And then this year, without a shadow of a doubt, it's been the worst yet.
That was a particularly bad day as well.
Yeah. I got it big time. But I'm not a kind of person. Wayne's pretty similar to me. Is I don't run away from it. I kind of go to it. And I lost my rag on the field with this set of parents. And as soon as I lost my rag, they tried changing it around on me and saying, "Oh, look, he's aggressive. He shouldn't be reffing kids." So you expect me to stand here and you F and Jeff and give me all this crap, and I just take it. But as soon as I come back at you and come back at you and challenge you on your behaviour, I'm the one that's aggressive and I'm the one that's in the wrong. And it were really it were horrendous actually. It were under 11s game that we're doing, so we're only 10-year-old kids. I ended up sending one off at the end of the game because he'd seen how his parents were behaving. They all had actually, and the worse the parents' behaviour got, the worse the kids' behaviour got, to the point where at the end of the game he walked over to me and called me a fucking cheat. And his mum were there, and my missus, who's secretary at the club, said, "Are you happy that your son's talking to an adult like that?" She goes, "Well, I support him when we have been fucking cheated," which they hadn't been cheated. Let me tell you, they got hammered by my club, my team, but it wasn't because of me. So I red carded him, and then the manager decided. Well, I'll say it. I don't care if he listens, to be honest with you, because he knows where I am. He became Billy Big Bollocks over over a text message because I told my missus when she came over because it were all kicking off, and I said, "Look, get your camera out because I think it's going to kick off here." And not that I bothered about it kicking off, but I wanted to prove to say that I'd not caused it. You know, if I reacted in any way, they'd say, "Well, I've been provoked," kind of thing. And they were all chirping up about that after the game. So he's text my manager, threatening message saying, "Tell that fucking woman to delete that video of my son off her phone, otherwise I'm going to fucking come round and delete it myself." Well, that's my wife, and didn't know that. So my animal instinct wanted to get him on the phone and say, "Well, here's my fucking address. Come round and have a go at deleting it for yourself if you want. I'm here fucking ready. Let's see who wins," kind of thing. I was that mad because it had been really bad. This particular day, another referee of mine in an under sevens game, 6 aside, 6-year-old, 5 aside. My coach had to come onto the field to stop them abusing my referee at an under sevens match. So I were already up here, treetop gone. So I thought, you know what, I'll be smart about it. So I took the message, forwarded it all on to the FA, put in a massive complaint. That club who he was managing for were horrified by what he'd done. The FA don't ever tell you really what the outcome is, but I've heard on the grapevine that the kid who got the red card has been given quite a decent fine, and the manager who sent this, because it was really aggressive and confrontational, threatening behaviour, apparently he's had a massive fine and he's looking at can't believe it was a 6-month ban or something like that. So in terms of what the FA done, I feel that's pretty good. But anyway, I've kind of gone to Liverpool here to get to London. I said to Martin, "Can you assist me with these body cams in any way? Because I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it." So Martin's kindly sent me 10 straps up for my referees, which I'm going to be distributing out in the next week or two, once I've got them to sign a disclaimer about what they do with the footage after the finish with it. Because obviously we're a bit different to you when we're dealing with kids, the safeguarding issues, that I have to make sure that they're going to be deleting that footage as soon as it's finished, unless there's an incident in which they share that to a secured club drive and then they delete it. So then I can have access to it to forward onto the FA to kind of back it up. And it's really interesting what you said about you've gone from having abuse to virtually no abuse because you've got a camera on your chest.
Yeah.
And you're right. Why are they not implementing it now? So the way I feel about it, the way I feel about securing the safety of my referees when they come to ref my games where kids are playing, I'm doing it without the consent because I don't see legally how they can stop me. You know, and if nothing happens, then videos get deleted. But if something does happen, I can then go and say, "Here you go. I don't need to spend an hour writing your report out. Have a watch and work out for yourself." So we're doing it as a club. I'm doing it without consent, and I'm doing it because I think it's the right thing to do. And I hope what I want us to do as well is to make the visiting managers know when they send out the information for kick-off times for the game. By the way, we have referees, and our referees do wear body cams. So please make your parents and players aware. And I am hoping by doing that, we can stop the tap as well, because I think it will.
It needs to happen. It's just like you say. Recently, it's just got off the scale. The reports of referees getting abused verbally, even physically. I just think body camera would stop 99% of it. I really do.
What do you think, Wayne?
Well, you're proving that.
Come on, Wayne, you're quiet tonight. What do you think?
Well, I've just said he's proving that. I mean, I wanted to know. Obviously, the body cams are working for you. Are you informing everybody before the game that you?
Yes, I am. I am. Yeah, both teams. I'm letting them both know, and I send both teams the footage afterwards as well.
Yeah, and so they all know that you're posting it anyway. So you've got that. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
So
what got you into reffing then? If you've been playing football and coaching, what suddenly made you turn to the dark side?
Yeah, so like I said, I love football. I'm addicted to football. Playing, I'm in my early 30s. My knees aren't what they used to be, so I can't play football at any level. I went into coaching because I couldn't play for about a year or so. Enjoyed it, but it wasn't for me really. So I wanted to keep in the game. And next thing, refereeing. I thought, I love it. I love being on a pitch amongst the players. I just love it. Absolutely love it. Best decision I've made.
Weirdly addictive, isn't it?
Very, very addictive, yeah.
It's mad.
I think football, being involved in grassroots football overall is, take away the playing side of it. You know, Wayne helps me run my club. It's chaos. There's stuff goes off all the time. You know, coaching kids, managing parents is the hardest part of it, and I don't care if listening to that either. It is, and there's so many things that I've said to you, haven't I, Wayne, a million times. I don't know why I bother with this shit.
Yep.
I don't know why I bother. And then you get down to training with your lads on a Saturday, or you have a game like I had yesterday, and that football magic just kicks in, and all that shit that happens through the week and all rubbish that you have to deal with. When it comes down to its purest form, when you're coaching and watching your kids develop and do well, that's the hook in it. That's the I can't. It is. It's strange.
You just forget everything else, and for that 90 minutes, you forget everything else, and it's just football. Love it.
Yeah.
It's weird because I only got into. I only got
your
to,
first game, Tony.
Say that again. Sorry.
Sorry, Martin. I was saying, Tony, can you remember that your first game?
Yeah, on the 17s it was.
Onto the pitch, knowing you were ready to blow the whistle.
Yeah, no, I remember it well. I was nervous, really nervous, but it went well. It was quite not much happened, to be fair. It was an easy way in. I got a bit lucky there with the first game, but since then been hooked, like I say, very addictive.
Martin?
No, I was going to say I only got into refereeing because I was banned. I've talked about this a bit, and I remember someone saying really on in my career, it's addictive. Refereeing is addictive. And I was like, nah. Let's see what it's so. And unless you couldn't get out of your head, because there's so much you can learn so quickly. And if you're really dedicated to it, it's why some people get away with abusing us. Because you get so committed to it that you don't want to do anything towards. Whereas if this was in the pub and he'd talk to you like that, you'd probably react. And I know some ex-military people who get in touch with us through our hotline and say, do you know what, I just need to talk to someone because today I'm a trained killer, you know, in inverted commas, and I let them call me other names under the sun. If I come to bed, I'm lying in bed. And I think I should have done something to feel less of a man. And I always say, listen, no, that's not you being ex-military. That's your human side. Yeah. And that's what I always talk about. And I remember just tying in, learning quickly. It was the same with the charity. I then realised really, really quickly that there was this massive hole that needed filling, where someone had to stand up, put the nuts on the chopping block and the heads above the parapet like I did, and go, we're not having this. We're not having this. We're not having. And it's just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And I've never spent a bean on promoting ref support, nothing on social media, never spent a penny. It's all organic growth, where now we've got 3 times what the Referee Association followers have got on Twitter. They've been going for 6 years longer than me. I've got more than the FA official Wembley Stadium referee account followers, far more engagements, far more everything. I even put the same video up an hour after the FA had put their video up. Exact same video, enough is enough. And I have 3 times the engagement than they did, quote tweets. So I know I'm speaking to the people who want to hear about it, who have got an invested the attitude, be it positively or negatively. So I know it's got this, and tying in what you said, it's about addictive, and I think it's having that positive outcome on a game, innit? And I think having a body cam, what will happen, guarantee it's going to happen to you, if it hasn't happened already, is that someone's going to say, we need to have a word with him. He'll get a letter off the FA or county FA or stuff like that, which will just make it a massive story because you've been so positive with it. Look at that video there that you know, hopefully if Wayne can, he's the expert in it, he'll cut a bit of that video in, the penalty decision of your YouTube, into this when you're talking about it earlier. And we can show it during this podcast. Hopefully that'll be able to happen. And you see the impact of it. To me, that's everything what I wanted body cams for. Not just negative of referee abuse. It's always going to be deterrent, always going to be a learning aid, and it's always going to be an evidence gatherer, evidence of good behaviour as well as bad. But it's all forms of abuse, homophobic abuse, racial abuse. I've always said it from day one. This isn't just about the referee.
No, it's not.
Benefit from it. The thing is that the FA's body cam pilot currently, there's a couple of things I think they could do differently. Is that they don't have it on all the time. So I presume you have yours on all the time.
All the time.
All the time. Theirs is encrypted as well, so you can't see it. And then they only turn it on when they feel an incident's going to happen. And apparently there hasn't been any incidents. So that in all could be twofold. It could be like, oh, there was nothing wrong anyway. Or it's exactly what you said. The whole mere presence of it is creating a good positive environment. Because I did some stuff with the Royal Marines where we wore a dummy phone, piece of cardboard. When I send them the straps, it's got a piece of cardboard that looks like the front of an iPhone. Even that has a positive effect. If it's a piece of cardboard, that looked like a phone. Because this trigger mechanism, and I think when we get into the proper rollout, it's going to get scaled up the FA1 this season, hopefully to teams of 3. So line obviously using them as well as the ref in the middle. And I just think, by accident, I think you could be a bit of a game changer in all this, you know, mate. I really do.
I hope so, mate. I hope so, because it needs to happen. The same, it's a massive deterrent. It can only be a good thing. I can't see anything negative from it, anything at all.
Anthony, can I ask you how much you paid for it? What type of camera is it that you use?
It's just a standard Picasso GoPro. I think it was about 60 quid. I think something like that.
It's a GoPro, is it?
Yeah.
All right, okay. I'm interested myself because obviously we're using these straps for Martin, where we put our phones in and kind of leave them on. Obviously, I have to think about costing as a club, because I keep reminding my parents we're not Man City, we're not made of money. So, you know, there's a cost implication. But if I can move eventually one day from phones, you know, people's personal phones that are on a chest, you know, they get a ball smashed out, you know, I've got to replace that. Whether it be worthwhile me looking at, because I did buy one at a really cheap, shitty thing, and I tried it myself. Everything was just bouncing all over, and just couldn't see anything. So I just,
well, that does happen. I'm sure Anthony says you run, it does happen. But most incidences, like what happens with Anthony in the penalty, happens when you're stood still. All that content that Anthony's creating, that referee's he's just walking. It's not up and down. I know somebody got gyroscope, but with your own phone, basically. So you put your phone in there, and you put it on selfie video, and you got a body cam. If you put it into airplane mode, you won't get any calls or text messages, and it saves the battery. But we've also worked on an app, but we've run out of money because we're already on about £20,000. This app is you can have it encrypted, non-encrypted. It's got a panic button, sends a message to your mum or your dad or your parents or whoever you want. There's loads of little things in it, and you can clip it. So, but because we ran out of money, it's just parked to one side, really. But like just having your cell phone, your mobile phone in there on selfie video, and the strap is big enough to put most phones in there, that you've got a free body cam. And what we've said is we give the straps free, get them made in China, so that, you know, they don't cost us loads, but it's a big investment because we pay up front and all that for loads of them, and just free. Most kids or people who use the phones think, where am I going to put my phone? Leave it in my car, leave it in the dressing room. You know, stick it here, it's safe, and you're using it as a deterrent for abuse. Win-win.
Anthony, have you had anybody that's come and complained and said they're not happy about you wearing it?
No one, not one person.
Do you inform the clubs before you do it? Are you moving around different clubs, or are you sticking to one club?
No, different clubs.
So I'm in them before you come, or do you inform them on the day?
I am. Yeah, no, I inform them in the week. So if I've got a game on Saturday, well, I've got a game on Saturday, and I've already told.
From, mate?
I'm in the Huddersfield League.
Ah, all right. So you're not far from. I thought you sounded like
local. Yeah, he's got that accent, hasn't he?
So does Huddersfield have got their own county FA, haven't they? It's not.
Yes. Yeah.
So are they aware you're doing it?
I've not disclosed it. There will be now.
Well, I mean, look, I don't think that's a bad thing.
I don't think they've seen it, though. I think they've seen it.
Everything that you've said has not been negative. Everything you've said is kind of backed up what Martin has been saying for a long time. You know, they're a massive deterrent. And I think the biggest thing we could take out of this interview so far is that you've gone from, all right, you're pretty new, but you've gone from having little pockets of abuse to virtually none because of a camera strapped to your chest.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to be doing this as a pilot, and you were our guinea pig, let's say, that's all the evidence you need. But I'd also imagine if we had 5 of you that were doing it, I imagine it would be pretty similar as well. I think, do you know another thing? This is me really putting myself out there, and maybe I'll get chinned one day and I'll be proved wrong. But most people, I think, that throw the abuse are cowards. They're the ones that know 99% of referees are not going to do anything back. So they're like bullies. And you know what happens with bullies? When bullies are confronted, their asses fall out. So I'm not surprised that we have had a massive, you've had a massive drop-off. You're always going to get your 1% who's a nutter, who's maybe going to do it anyway. But to be honest with you, nutters are generally not the ones that cause the problem. They're generally quiet people, aren't they? You're unassuming that they're that mental and they just want to get on with doing what they're doing. It's the ones that are well, like I said, I find everyone I think that I've encountered so far has been a bit of a coward. You know, if you stand your ground to them, that they don't like it and they don't know what to do, and they'll generally back away. The problem with that is you shouldn't have to be like that. You shouldn't have to be comfortable in a confrontational environment. Luckily for me, I'm not bothered. I mean, you know, I think Wayne, you're saying, Martin, I know you are definitely.
Yeah.
To me, they can do what they want. You know, like Martin said time and again, you know, and Martin's told me some really funny stories about his days about saying, you know, you want to come and repeat that to me after the game's finished, and they don't want to know. You know,
no, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, I'd take it, but I think it's important to give a little bit back. It's not, you're not there to be, you know, you're not there to be shouted at or abused at. Nothing wrong with giving a little bit back as long as you don't overstep the mark. I think it's human, like you say, it's going back to the human thing. It's completely normal.
I think
they respect you more for it.
Yeah, I think the thing is for me, and we're very proactive in terms of refereeing at the club. And as much as I'd love to say to all my players that play for me, oh yeah, you're all going to make pros, chances aren't none of them are. You know, maybe 1, 2, 3, 5 at absolute best out of the 151 kids that I've got a minute. But if you're looking on statistics, it's not even 1% of people make it pro. So there's a much bigger chance if they want to stay involved in football and they don't want to do coaching, and if they understand football, that they can become good at this and make a good career out of it. So I know the problem with when we've spoke about this on this podcast, and I'm going to lead this into something else that I want to kind of explain. If we can stop that abuse at the early age, I think we've had this. Martin, I can't but guess we had. We were talking about stopping the abuse at an early age to allow them to find the feet to then develop into good refs later on down the line, because future players are also future referees. I hate this whole argument that said they've never kicked a ball in their life. Just because you've not played professional football doesn't mean you've not kicked a ball in your life. This is a mad stat that I've heard as well this week, and it blew me away. Like, the majority of football is played by amateurs. It's played by grassroots footballers. The professional footballers that they all say he's never kicked a ball in his life, they're the minority. They're the minority. The majority of football is played on grassroots pitches by amateur footballers who just love the game. So my point I'm going to lead into is the next argument that comes on, and my brain's twitching now because I get a bit into things. They all say standard of refereeing shit. It's shit. All new referees coming through the shit. They might have an argument. I'm not saying they're not. I look at some refereeing performance. I won't defend all referees. I think some of them, I've seen some horrendous refereeing performances. But if kids stop playing football by the age they were 14 through fear because they were getting abused week in, week out, how many fucking good footballers do you think will make it to the top? How many would it stop? So what you have to understand is we have a reduced pool of referees that don't want to referee because of the abuse that they're receiving. Imagine if we shrunk that abuse. So rather than 1 out of 10 youngsters carrying on the refereeing, we have 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. How many of them would turn into the world-class elite referees of tomorrow? There'd be a bigger pool for professional referees to be chosen from, which surely would mean there'd be a much larger pool of talent. But because we stopping them getting past, I can't remember what guest it were, but we had the conversation say that there's a massive percentage of referees that stop reffing within the first year because of the abuse. How many top quality referees are we losing because they don't get past that 12 months?
So Max was at this academy and he was on the pitch and I thought he was doing okay. And there was a guy stood beside me who pointed me out and says, "Are you his parent?" I was like, yeah. He says, "God, he's doing really, really well." And he introduced himself and it was Darren England. Name ring a bell?
Darren England.
Yeah. Darren
Absolute
England.
shithouse of a VR referee.
Yeah, and we're only talking about a week.
I'm sorry, I take that back, Martin. I didn't mean that.
We're talking about 7 days after the event. So this guy stood there at the side of this pitch watching Max. Apparently his nephew was there or something. And we didn't really go into any detail about the event. He basically just said, he was feeling a bit shit about it. But what was worse was turning up to school and seeing the press there waiting for his kids and him, which wasn't very nice. But at each quarter, when Max came off, Darren went over, spoke to him, gave him some pointers. Max was buzzing. He was absolutely thrilled to bits because he knows who Darren England is. And by the end of it, he's coming back and asking Darren, "How did I do? How did I do?" And we got in that car on the way back, and Max is like, "That were brilliant. I want to do that again." So I think with the right influence, with the right people pointing you in the right direction, like, you know, Max had really enjoyed Martin's support, obviously your support, Wayne, but with the right people guiding these kids in the right direction, there's no reason for them to stop reffing. And, you know, we have got a pool of talent there that we're at risk of losing, but these body cams could help that.
So have you looked at it and thought, actually, I could have been a bit more left there, or it could have been a bit closer, or a bit further away, or didn't like Abertone?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even the penalty decision on the weekend, the most recent one, I had a bit of feedback saying I should be running to the corner flag so I get a better angle, which is fair enough, and it's probably the right thing to say. But it's like, it's human. It can't be everywhere at the same time. It's a difficult job refereeing. Just going back to the abuse. Martin, you tweeted on the ref support account about the female referee that had to quit from the Huddersfield League a couple of weeks ago, and I was speaking to her last night. I told her I was coming on here, and she's had a lot of support from friends, family, ex-professional referees, and she's actually decided now to referee again. So she wanted me to pass the thanks on to yourselves, and yeah. So it's a good news story. She'll be back in action on the weekend.
Why does she come on? I think that sounds like a great story.
Brilliant. Yeah, let me see if we can get it on. I talk to her parents, but see, this is what a lot of I call them badge collectors, don't get. They don't get that when you're out there talking about it, like I do, put me nuts on the chopper in my head, getting all the stick. I get a message off him saying, "How'd you put up with this?" I get me people saying to me, "Matt, how'd you put up with all that crap?" I find it funny because I know they're playing right into my hands, even if they're calling me a gimp, even if they're calling me a fanboy virgin. Some bloke called me fanboy, even though he had a photograph of the cop on his profile, which I said, "Mate, how can you call me a fanboy virgin when you got a photograph of the cop with your profile photo?" So even all them, what it does, the people like that girl, people like other people who just watch it, they know someone's there for them. They know, and they'll drop me a message. They'll might look at the website and go back and contact them. That's what happens, and that only happens when the blue neds are coming at me, because they're all going, "Oh my God, that wasn't me. That lad's from Liverpool. That one's from Newcastle. I live in Surrey, and the same thing happened to me. It's not me." And then we do things like send them a message. Like that lad in Australia got his jaw broke. You know, I got Mark Clattenburg to send him a personal video. Do you know what I mean? So this is what it's about, and it's so rewarding hearing you talk about that, because that's the MO. That's the MO, and that's what the FA can't do.
Yeah, and I think a body-worn camera could have prevented the whole thing, and it never happened. You know, but yeah, it was a shame. But I'm glad she's back refereeing this weekend, and
that's really, really good to hear. And I will follow that up. And it's like, but like what the FA's done on the encryption bit, it's just going to complicate it a bit, and also the way they're doing it with the company that's using it. They're expensive body cams, so it's not very scalable. And everyone's saying, "Oh, well, who's going to pay for it?"
Yeah.
And which I've said, look, if you've got a phone, we'll give you these straps free. Just use your phone. You've got a strap. It's adjustable. It's waterproof. And so it's there. And the scalability is there. Absolute scalability is there. So I think, and then when you see people who it's easy to use, I even thought about, you know, some women's breast might be really big. So that the thing might be at a different angle because it goes in the middle of your chest. But even when as forensically as having the strap vertical, but it actually records a landscape on the app, which, believe it or not, apparently that's a real bit of technology. It's painted over in America. So have your phone vertical like that, but it records landscape, because obviously people with big bellies or big boobs or whatever, as it changes the angle of it, the strap, so you have to adjust it. So that's how forensic we've been with this, and that's why we know it'll do it. But it's like I said, that's why I wanted to talk about the learning side of it, you know, because I deal with an awful lot of stuff that comes in, and some referees are out of order. I've said it many times. Some referees are out of order how they talk to players. Now, you said earlier about give a little bit back. I get it. I absolutely get it. Understand it. It's their language. It's almost like throwing water on the flame. It just, oh, hang on, bit of a reality check. But not everyone can do that, can they? There's particularly young children who are refereeing. So there's always got to be this another tool in the referee's toolbox. Whether you get, like, I could crack a joke like that, so I never had any problems at all. Other people can't do that. And it's important to recognise what giving a bit back is. And the only way you're going to evidence that is when you get a good piece of it and a bad piece of it recorded by a body cam.
Yeah.
And you just go, here we go, stick it on the e-learning platform. Look, this is the evidence of the good, and here's the evidence of the not so good. It's just everywhere. I just think this will be an absolute monster. I think if it gets rolled out properly and they're not as tight on at the FA, they let people use certain devices rather than just one device, which obviously inflates the price. Whereas if it's there for everyone, it will absolutely change everything. Imagine catching like your boy, you're going to have all got children. The first ever goal they've ever scored in their life at a 10-year-old, you've got it on your body camera.
Yeah.
Where does that happen? Do you know what I mean? A wonderful save by little Jane in goal. You caught it on your body camera. There you go. You can have it forever. You know, the positivity is there as well. So don't get wrapped up on the negativity of the abuse. There's so much more in it. That just let the strings go by the FA.
Another positive that you can pass
from
on.
a club's perspective, adult fine, but what you're saying there, you might be breaching safeguarding, so be careful.
Yeah, but I mean, if the parents were keeping that video, do you know what I mean? That's what I meant. If they come to you instead.
It depends who else is in that video, who's hit the shot for the save. Do you get what I mean? Or do you get what I mean?
Is it? All right.
Yeah, it's really, as much as I love exactly what you're saying, and I agree with it, unfortunately, because of the way the world's gone and it's full of monsters, you can't do that. Which is why I was saying that before we implement it at my club, I've got to get them all to sign kind of like a waiver to say these are the procedures that you will follow once that game is finished. So if there's no incident, it's deleted. If there is an incident, here's where you upload it to. After you've uploaded it, then I expect you to delete it, because if they go around sharing it and little Johnny is in some kind of care or is in some protection where and we've had this, believe it or not, at our club, where they're not allowed to be shown on social media through fear of being found by the abusive dad, and they come and find them, you've got to be really careful.
You know what my answer to that is? Because I've done a pre-match and post-match protocol for this. I've sent it in. What happens on match of the day when they pan to Old Trafford and there's kids there? Does anyone go, hang on, before you pan over?
No, but the difference
No, let me just go back to it. It's really important. It's really, really important. No one checks it. Nobody checks if that kid in that crowd is in care, is in protected. Nobody. Match of the day, Sky. So why have you got to do it at grassroots level?
I'll tell you exactly the reason why. Because they're not necessarily from Manchester. So if you catch them on video footage playing for a club, for example, my club Sandal Beat, that is based in Intake in Doncaster, they've got a rough idea of where that kid is and where they're training and where they can go and find them. You catch someone in a crowd that's going to watch Manchester United, chances are
probably from London, anyway. Is that what you're saying? Because all Man United fans are from London.
From what I was about to say, the chances are they're from London anyway. But that's the difference. Whereas if you pinpoint it down and say, oh, Sandal Beat, for example, where do they play? Oh, let Facebook find them, or Google search Sandal Beat Road, Doncaster, next to Doncaster Racecourse. He must train there. When do they train? I'll pretend I'm a parent's got a kid coming down. What time are you training? There you go, bang, and it blows it. Whereas if you see him on the TV, that just because you've seen him at Manchester United doesn't mean to say that they're living in Old Trafford or they're going there every week. Do you get what I mean? It's a bit different. But on the flip side to that, I do get it. And what you'll find is, even though sometimes we'll say you can't video certain people, parents will, because you can't see them all, you can't stop them all. I think, Matt, what I say to parents at that point is, if it has happened and we have got an incident, please don't. But if you do, don't put it on social media. That's kind of the way you have to.
I get that. I get. So you've never have you had many teams say, "I'm not bothered about the footage," or they all made up together?
No, I have ref on the 13s, 14s, and the 12, but I don't even put the body worn camera on for that. Okay. And then it's just for the senior adults. But yeah, no one's had any objections whatsoever. To be fair, everyone loves it because they're all on social media. They can all, like you were saying before, if they score a screamer, if that body worn camera is there, they're never going to see it again. They're not going to relive it. And there's so many positives, and I can't think of any negatives whatsoever.
I've watched some of your videos, and I think obviously the cam's helping, but on the flip side of that as well, I think you've got a really, really well-controlled manner. And I think the way that you explain yourself, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you project your voice, is really, really good. And I think
Thank you.
that's obviously going to be a big help to it as well, because it's you're stating things, the reasons why you've made decisions, and they're pretty much unquestionable. You put it across really, really well, mate.
I agree with that.
Thank you.
When you did it and the way you handled it, and he sort of fist bumped when you said about the penalty, he said, "Oh, sorry," and all that. That's something I wanted to talk about too. I'm really pleased that Wayne's brought it up, because that's what I'm on about, the learning of it. That's a really good practice, I felt, the way you were. And like I said, I don't even know what job you do, but you strike me as someone who's military or the police or something like that. I don't know why I get that feeling. I'm feeling like Mr. Marty here. But your composure in those environments is really, really impressive. It really is impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So he's not telling you what he does for a living, Martin. He's probably an assassin.
Yeah.
Works for FA.
I just, the fact that he's got like Norway on the back of him means he's probably hiked up there or somewhere like that. Those people who are listening, you've got a big Norwegian mountain behind you, or some. What is that behind you?
Wales.
That's just a wallpaper.
Is that your wallpaper? I thought it was I thought it was
FA headquarters. I told you.
Fair play, mate. That's obviously people who were listening on the radio on the without video will be going, what are they going about? That snobby mountain. You just strike me as something going down there with skis, getting chased by some Russians behind you or something.
It's only because he's wearing an Aaron jumper.
Yeah, no, it's not help either, is it? Yeah, to be fair.
But does that wallpaper make you feel cold? Well, listen, do you know when you decided to do it, was it an instinctive thing, or I know you said you're in a game with sort of your industry where you wear it, but was it like just a natural? You know, it's great with my job. I'm going to just bring into.
I've been going to just referee, just record the match, and it's just the match day vlog, really. So I thought I was refereeing on a Sunday, so I thought, why not do both? And it's gone really well. I'm really enjoying it.
No, brilliant. It's a real really great thing you've done, mate. I can put a link on our website if you want, mate. I have all your videos on there.
Thank you very much.
I'll just put your YouTube link on. I'm happy to do all that for you, because obviously the people who come on our website, we get a lot of hits, and if you anything to help the profile of what you're doing, and for me, just you're a really good example of how to referee. First year referee, you got some great natural skills, mate, like Wayne picked up on. And the more that people that see that, I think it'd be good for the game, particularly youngsters who are getting into the game.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
So, mate, what were you going to say, Was?
No, I was just going to try and wrap it up. I'm just conscious of the time that we're going on. I'm just going to wrap it up. I think it's been a brilliant interview, really insightful. You're absolutely, without knowing it, fighting a cause for Martin, really, that has been an agenda he's been pushing for a long time. And, you know, I think for Martin, it's the first living proof that I'm aware of that what he's been pushing is working. And I think it's important. And I think I know we've touched on why don't they just roll it out there. I think they definitely should do, and nobody's even asking for them to pay for it either. I think most clubs would try and find a way for them to do it. I think the only stumbling block in kids football will be the safeguarding issue that I think I spoke about, but that's easy to get around. I've done it. I just manage a grassroots club. I'm sure they've got somebody that's a lot smarter than me. Well, I'd hope so. Maybe not, actually.
That won't be hard to find.
That, you know, can implement something that works and that you can get into kids football, because kids, they're the future of everything, not just football. And I think, you know, if we want to have better footballers, better referees, then standards of grassroots have to improve in that area in terms of the abuse that goes off. And it's not just at refs, it's at coaches, you know, it's parents, it's everybody. It's turning a little bit into the wild, wild west, I think. And I think me and Wayne have spoke about this recently. I think the country's in such a disarray at the minute. I think people are working more than they ever have, and they've got less money in their pocket, and people are frustrated and fed up, and they're existing, not living, a lot of people, especially in working class communities, which is what we represent. And I think that them frustrations are coming out more than ever on a Sunday and a Saturday morning or afternoon. And, you know, it's not right. I think we should be collectively as a nation turning our attentions to the people that are causing this pain, because it certainly ain't referees. And it certainly ain't kids and grassroots coaches. We're the good guys, really. We're the ones trying to give you something to do on a weekend that doesn't cost you much money, opposed to, you know, trying to strip you of money all the time. So I think it's really important that message gets across, and we all learn to have a little bit more tolerance with each other. You know, football's a game of passion. Let's not drive the passion out. Let's control it. I think that's the message. Nobody wants people to be silent. I don't. I want them to come, cheer the kids on, but do it in the right way. You know, you don't have to be threatening and swearing and abusive. You know, when things don't go your way, it's football. Nobody wins every game, not even Man City. So,
do you want to? If you tell us what your before you go, mate. If you tell us what your handles are on YouTube, Twitter, where our followers can follow you and go from there, mate.
Yeah, YouTube is Tony Talks UK, and my Twitter is at AntsHarris10. So yeah, both YouTube and Twitter.
We'll wrap it up with you. Thank you. I'll certainly keep in touch. I'll certainly have a follow. Might do some comments on there. So I'm laughing at what they'll see. Hopefully it's all good stuff. Good luck for the future. Let's touch base again in 12 months. See how things are going on.
Thanks very much. Thanks for your time as well. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your comments,
mate. All the best, pal.
Take care, mate. Great to meet you.
Thanks. Take care. All the best.
Take care, mate.